And good morning, Hoosier Nation. Welcome to another disappointing edition of Hoosier Morning After. This is Hoosier Morning After Purdue. Late last night, your Indiana Hoosiers go on to lose to Purdue 79-59, taking IU's record to 14-10 in the season, 6-7 in the Big Ten. Guys, it continues to be the hope that kills you. Look, IU had the smallest chance, albeit a slight chance, to win this game. But those were two very different teams out there on that court last night. One team has been building to this point for around 4 years of developing players, retaining players, getting some pieces that have stayed old, having a cornerstone, once-in-a-lifetime player for themselves that they've been able to develop and expand his game for years, and have now built probably the best and most complete team that they have ever had, probably in program history. Obviously, I'm not deep in my history for that program. Then you look on the other side, and you've got a team with 10 new faces that are just struggling to put together cohesive minutes for at least even just the starting five, due to youth, injury, and just a lack of time playing together against a team that has years together. So that being said, going back to my first comment, it truly is the hope that kills you. And IU gave us hope in the first couple minutes of this game, scoring on their first 4 possessions with 4 assists. IU was moving the ball. Players were moving into great positions. Things were looking interesting. Obviously, pessimism may have set in for many of you, knowing that IU probably couldn't stick with this or hold on to that kind of situation for the whole game, but it looks good to start. And it still continues to be confounding that we get away from that we struggle then later on in the game to even find that. Now, I know it has something to do with substitutions. And we, like I said, we struggle to even get our starting 5 going, and then we add in different pieces. And if those pieces off the bench aren't having a career day or whatever when they get in and don't mold with the other ones, then it's where things fall apart. And it's where the train comes off the tracks. No pun intended with this opponent. And it's just is what happened in this game as well. The substitutions, IU lacked finding anything and any sort of effort going into the second half. Now, I did notice, and excuse me, it's what IU needed coming into the half was a spark from someone and IU to get going and everything. And they did slightly find a spark towards the end in CJ Gunn, and I'll talk a little bit about him moving forward. But it was just something that was too late, too little, too late, because IU came out of the second half digging their hole even deeper than they had in the first half, not scoring in almost 6 minutes. I think even almost 8 minutes to begin the second half. So you're not going to do anything that wise. They started to fight towards the end. Looked like they might get it close at some points. And I say close by it being up to 17 away or so. But in the end, just could not do it. Could not get over that. And it's frustrating. It's aggravating. We'll sit here and suffer this morning together. And I thank you for being with me. I'm your host, Chad Schwartzkopf. Martha off this morning. Martha is driving the youth of basketball, women's basketball in Indiana to some games, making some new players, developing new players for Terry and the IU women's team who plays today. So brighter side, there's that sport going on. No other sports going on today. So that the IU women's game is the only game sport-wise you have to worry about on this Sunday. Yeah, right. What are your plans? Maybe we shift to that What are your Super Bowl plans for today? But anyways, thank you for being here with me. We'll try to work through it together, talk through it together, figure out some things, feel a little bit better, get it out, and hopefully we can move on and not suffer through this back end of the season that we have. And again, defensively, you could see what IU was trying to do in this game. They obviously clamped down on a lot of the support players on Purdue's team, not letting Lawyer get his usual outside shots, really kind of knowing that Edey was going to get his. And their game plan on Smith, you could see. The scouting report is Smith likes to go right. He wants to use his right hand. And they were forcing him left. Then the ball screen would come up, and you saw him try to curve around. And he eventually then did get to his right hand and got downhill. The sad thing is, the big did not want to help off of Edey. That's kind of a conundrum you're going to get into in those type of rotation patterns and that kind of screening that Smith is able to do. And then no help came off either, because clearly the game plan was to stay home on those corner guys and let Smith try to get to the basket and get those twos. And Smith did, tip of a hat to him, a wonderful job of getting to the basket and creating those. But in a season where we've complained many times, and we've been here talking in the mornings, that IU was helping way too much on the other side and leaving guys open for three, this was almost the opposite end of that, where Smith was able to just get downhill and get to the basket at will and do everything he wanted to do and get things going for himself and for the team. And that was really kind of what propelled them and was the cornerstone of their offense for most of the game. Galloway, I think, was fighting in this game. He really tried to find that next level in himself in this game. I think he is kind of a matchup problem for this Purdue team, and I would have liked to see him be a little bit more aggressive in the game, trying to get his shot and everything. He finished in this game with just 10 points, 4 for 11 from the field. So he's just struggling to just hit those as he was driving a lot in this game. 0 for 4 from three. It continues to be, that 3-point line continues to be elusive for him. 2 for 4 from the free throw line. Just 3 rebounds. He's had a lot more. 7 assists is what is great to see in this game, with just 3 turnovers in nearly 34 minutes of play. Thought he was really aggressive. Thought he was doing pretty good in this game. I don't know if anyone in the chat or anyone listening, you can comment at some point. If you were there at the game, let me know. I did notice one moment going into the half, IU was headed to the locker room and the cameras caught Trey Galloway standing under the basket, yelling and gathering the team together. You saw him waving, trying to get everyone together. And he looked like he wasn't happy. And obviously a senior Indiana player knows the gravity of this game and was not happy with how IU was playing, was not happy with what was going on, and seemed to be trying to rally the guys or get something going in the second half for the IU. And I don't know if any of you saw that. And it truly is what I'm thinking it is there. But I like seeing him taking that leadership on and trying to spark something out of the team. Now, it didn't lead to anything, as we saw what happened in the start of the second half. But at least that's a bright side that I take away from this game, that I saw him fighting in those moments for IU. Now, Purdue obviously game planned us also as well against Renew. IU's best option, IU's go-to option when we just need to get a basket is Renew this year. And they took him out of this game. They game planned against him. They played him tough. Every time, everything that he touched was tough. Everything was hard to get to the basket. Everything that he tried to get there just didn't work for him. He finished with just 6 points in this game, 3 for 11 from the field, 0 for 2 from 3. Just got 5 rebounds. We need more rebounds out of him. 3 turnovers in just 23 minutes, getting again a 1 foul in the first half, and then just frustrated. You could tell that frustration kind of took over for him in the second half, leading to those 4 fouls and fouling out at, let me see, when did he foul out? Fouling out with 7 minutes left in the game. So not an ideal time to lose your best player. IU at that point was down by 14. So something IU could have used. Oh, excuse me. IU was down over 20. Sorry. not as close as I kind of remember it in my head during that time. But I mean, tip of the hat to Purdue for that. Take away IU's best player, disrupt him, make him struggle and frustrate him, and leads to him fouling out. So good game plan by them. I think Ware sat for a little bit longer in the first half than I would have liked, but I think overall he had a fairly good game going against Edey. 11 points for him, 5 for 7 from the field, made that 1 3-point shot that was great. Gus Johnson didn't celebrate as much for Ware making that 3-pointer as he did for Edey. You would have thought the roof came off, that a big guy randomly threw it up and banked a 3 in, and it was the most amazing thing ever. Little frustrating. I enjoyed in this telecast when they did have technical difficulties. It was nice to just listen to the ambience of the arena. No talking at all. Would have liked the scoreboard to be back up, but I could kind of peek at it in the corner of the video. Then oddly, Fox decided to go to the guys in the studio and make them stumble and attempt to talk during the game. Just not a good signal. I mean, we don't need to hear anything. Just let it be the game. Let us feel like we're there at the game. And then when you can get the guys back, put them back on. But Fox, that was pretty rough. That was not something I would have wanted to listen to in this game. But anyways, I thought, so going back to Ware, I thought that he had a good physical game. I think a lot of his physicality questions are done. If you asked me earlier in the year, with all the rumors of his motor and all the way we saw him match up against some other big guys during the beginning of the season, he struggled. And I think in this game, you saw him being a little bit more physical, and he wasn't shying away from him on both ends of the court. Wasn't shying away from that physicality. Obviously, could have done a little bit better pushing Edey out and not allowing him to catch it so deep. But again, he's giving away so many pounds to Edey. And another thing I would say as well is that I would have loved to see him suck Edey out more in this game and take him off the dribble. Face up to him and make him use his feet, make him foul. Because if you get him moving like that, he would foul. Now, would the refs call it? I don't know. But that's the situation you could put him into possibly better things for him. Other players, I think, to mention in this game, CJ Gunn has a career night in this one. Scoring 13 points on 4 for 6 from the field, 3 for 4, shooting threes, 2 for 4 from the line. Thought he was very active and was fighting. He was kind of one of the only guys towards the end of the game that was being really aggressive and sticking with it. I mean, not saying none of the players were, but he was obviously one that was taking advantage of the minutes that he got. All those points and everything was in the second half, just the 20 minutes that he got in the second half. Or less than 20 minutes that he got in the second half, because 20 minutes in the second half. He didn't play the whole time. But 20 minutes total, is what we got from CJ Gunn. But that's a nice little spark off the bench. That was a good thing from CJ. Something that a little drop every so often, I was hoping for going into the season out of him. So good for him for finding a little boost of confidence and spark, and we'll see what that leads to in these next 2 home games that we have coming up against, I believe, Nebraska and Northwestern. So hopefully he can continue that moving forward, and we can find some points off the bench from him as well in this. And IU's been favoring that smaller lineup, so that may just help as well to contribute to those things. Moving forward and looking at some stats in this game, obviously something that I mentioned earlier was the rebounding. Just IU was really ball watching in this one. It's been something that they've done earlier in this season. Rebounding wise, they've been kind of watching the ball, not really reacting and attacking and going and getting it. That's been more of the way IU's handled it recently. It has been that attacking. That's kind of what helped IU against Ohio State and other games. But 31-46 on rebounds, not really a good look for IU in this one on the rebounding side. Shooting wise, everything relatively lines up the same. Obviously, the three is going to be very different, but 42% for IU, 42% for Purdue. And the 3-point shooting, there's where the issue is. 25% for IU, 38% for Purdue. That's on 16 takes for IU, just an over 21 for Purdue. The line is where the big discrepancy is. Purdue taking 33 free throws, and IU half of that, 15. I'm not going to say that I think the reffing was all horrible. I mean, it still wasn't great. It wasn't as bad as we have complained earlier in the season, or as it's been. Maybe that's poor conditioning on my part, as that I've come to know that it's going to be bad in these games, and yet I allow for some crappiness that normally would not be something that would pass in a normal game. But there were moments and stuff where it gets frustrating. And I know it's a broken record, and Purdue fans are just going to say we're just complaining over nothing. But Edey is treated differently. He is treated differently. There was 2 plays almost back to back in the first half where Edey was going up for a basket about three feet from the hoop, and they called a foul, a reach-in foul on Ware as he was going up for it. I believe that was Ware's second foul and what led him to sit for a lot of the first half. And Sparks comes in, and almost immediately or not soon after, Sparks has a similar play where he is fouled identically by Edey, and there's no call. There's no whistle. So it's just those inconsistencies that are frustrating. And not to say that that would have been any sort of spark, that Sparks would have gotten to the hoop and made those or anything like that. But just those inconsistencies are frustrating. And it just stacks on stuff that's already frustrating for IU in this game. Any other kind of stats to look at? Points in the paint are 28-30. Something that you didn't really expect. Obviously, thinking back to this game, IU makes their money in the paint. So does Purdue. So it's not too surprising that those are relatively equal, but also with how IU struggled, also surprising that we didn't get much more. Bench points, some of the best we've kind of seen, 20 bench points from IU. Again, a lot of that has to do with CJ Gunn and his good play of late in the half. But it just came down to different teams and the different levels that these teams are currently on. And I go back to the theme at the top. It's the hope that kills you in a lot of these games, and it's a struggle when you are a team that is struggling to put things together, struggling to put minutes together and a lineup together that's going to be cohesive throughout, and you're young. And you're trying to figure things out. And it would have been, again, another game that would have been very nice to have Xavier Johnson in. And it's a bummer that injuries are plaguing us again at this point. So I don't know. I don't know where this team continues from here. I think the one solace I will take is that IU, as we have struggled in the past this season, has some time off to figure some things out. IU has 8 days until their next game against Northwestern next Sunday. So 7 days now, if you count it from this point, but 8 days from their last game last night to figure some things out during this week. And we came off of that break, that week-long break we had earlier in the season with new fire and renewed effort. So we will see what they're able to put together in this little break that we have coming up. Hopefully some things can get molded together. Hopefully CJ Gunn, we can see him string together another game like this. We could continue to see Anthony Leal come in and contribute those minutes, those little glue guy things that he does for IU. He was kind of a non-force in this game, obviously offensively, but I thought he did some good things defensively. Hopefully we can get Ware to feel a little more healthy. I kind of saw towards the end of the game he was hobbling and struggling a little bit. Obviously his injury that he just came back from was still plaguing him and hurting him a little bit. And we can get Malik to settle down, find his game again. Again, it's tough. It's tough against Purdue. It's tough when you are a team that counts on making all their points in the inside, and you're going against a big guy like that. It's going to be tough. IU is not built right now and is not making shots right now to overcome that type of situation. And I hate that. I don't like that. But that's the bed that we have, and we have to sleep in it. So it is what it is. Again, I will be continue to support them. I will continue to struggle, albeit not as fun as it is to be up the next morning to talk about it here with you guys. And we will see. We'll see what this team is. We'll see what they can be. Until then, we can have a little brighter spot today. 2 great sporting events to watch today. Watch the IU women's team go out there, a little shorthanded, a little injured and everything, but they will go out and fight for sure and get the victory against Purdue for us today. And then we have a Super Bowl. What are your plans? Hopefully you're having a good one. Hope you're going to make some good food, drink some beverages, have some good times with some friends. Watch the game. Hopefully it's a good game. Hopefully it's I'm excited myself for the halftime show at the age that I am to see Usher. That was my prime college years when Usher was firing away. So that'll be fun to see. Yeah, let's have a good day, guys. Let's flush this one. It stinks. It stinks to lose against your rival. It is a bummer to lose against your rival. And my hat's off to them because they took care of business. And to them, I hope they relish every moment of this because this is the best team that they've ever had. And I hope that IU can put together a few more wins and leave at least a decent taste to the rest of the season. Figure some things out for next year, and that's for a deeper talk as we move on. But the one thing we at least have to possibly look forward to is this Purdue team folding again against a high seed, which the Big Ten refs are doing their best to help us out with that factor. But for now, let's bury this one and let's move on and have a good day. So that's going to do it for this edition of Hoosier Morning After. Thank you for being here with me. Thank you for suffering with me. Thank you for trying to figure this out with me because it's a tough one to figure out. You can follow me on Twitter at General Chadwick. There you can find out more information about the show. See my frustrations and my emotions during the game and my tweets that kind of can get out of hand. But thank you to Bob Thompson for making the music, the theme song you hear on this. And we'll be back again the morning after the next game. Martha will be back with us at that point and everything. We'll try to figure things out. We'll try to get this ship righted. We'll hopefully get some W's out there for IU. Until then, go out there, enjoy your sports day. Have a wonderful one, and let's go Hoosiers.